Hey everyone, Catherine again, popping in with this a gross one, okay? Rotisserie chicken, it's gonna be delicious, but it's a little messy in the process. So here's a little 101 if you are wanting to do rotisserie chicken in your air fryer. So before you get started, a couple pro tips. Get your hair up, okay? Get it out of your face somehow. Your hands are gonna get real messy. And then also have all your materials ready. So I've got the chicken here, and then I have a knife. I've got scissors and baker's twine, kitchen twine. I have got all of this is the spit, the 2 forks, and the little screws to hold them in, butter, and then whatever seasonings you're going to use. So this is it's a dry rub that I threw together. That is the recipe there, okay? So it's oregano, rosemary, chili powder, sea salt, onion powder, garlic powder, and then if you like things a little spicier, you can add a little bit of cayenne as well. And so that, everything is ready right here, okay? So I'm gonna get this is messy, but bear with me. Grab your rag too, that's helpful. Okay, so here's my chicken. What I did with this was just rinsed it off, okay? And then I'm just taking a paper towel and essentially just drying the outside of it because the seasonings will stick to it so much better if it's mostly dry. So I just rinsed it in cold water and that's it, okay? If you're buying chickens from the grocery store, they typically will not have the neck on. This one happens to be from a local farm, and so it does. And this does not work with the air fryer. So if you can find an angle that works, we're basically just gonna cut this at the base. Kind of gross, I know. So if you have dogs, you're always told that they're not to eat chicken bones because they're not as strong. And so this is a great knife, but would not cut through a beef bone or a pork bone. So that's the piece I am going to cut and discard. Okay, and so basically then I've got open all the way around. And so for the air fryer, the instructions recommend 4 pounds. I've done a little bit more. I would not recommend going above 5 pounds because what will happen as it rotisseries, it will hit the heating elements on the top of your air fryer, therefore filling your entire house with smoke. I know this from experience because I've tested it to the max. So stay under 5, somewhere between 4 and 5 is absolutely ideal. Okay, then all you're gonna do is you're gonna take your spit, and what I like to do is get one of the forks on, and you're gonna wanna make sure it's below that section, okay? And then you're just gonna take the little screw on the back. This all comes apart for easy cleaning. And you're just gonna tighten it so that fork does not move. I like to have that ready because it's just easier to get, as you slide this through the chicken, you can go ahead and put the fork in that side. It's one less to get finangled. That's a very technical term. Okay, so then you've got the other end sticking out here and you're gonna do exactly the same thing. You're going to insert your fork into the chicken and onto the spit. Tell ya, this is for the coordinated people. Okay, it does not have to be perfect. Once it starts to cook and brown, the chicken will definitely hold itself together a lot better. So it's simply a matter of getting it on here and holding the chicken down. Okay, bear with me. There we go. And remember, we have to get it past that point. So instead of using a cutting board, drop that in there. I'm using a little sheet pan because it allows me to, at least this time, kind of hold the chicken. Real life. Hold the chicken on the end, kind of hold it. If I was on a cutting board, it would just as I was pushing that in, it would just keep sliding, which obviously doesn't work. Okay, so there we have it on the spit. And as you can see, it's a little floppy. So that is where our kitchen twine comes in. Rudy, come here, buddy. And we're actually gonna cut, we're gonna tie up the legs. And there's no magical way to do that other than I like to loop. And you're just gonna basically tie them so when this turns, they do not move, okay? Again, as it cooks, they will hold to the bird, if that makes sense. They won't be quite as floppy. So I usually knot it at least 2 times and then cut the excess because you don't want anything getting twisted up, right? Okay, so there is that, right? Much more secure. The other piece I like to tie down is the wings. So a little bit longer on that one. And then I simply just go around the bottom and around the top and do the same thing. A couple knots. Okay, cut the excess, discard. Okay, now our chicken is all ready to go. I'm just gonna grab a couple more paper towels. Okay, so make sure when you rinse your chicken, you don't fill the inside with water. Funny. So we're just gonna go like that. Okay, now for the outside, you could just absolutely do a dry rub. I like to do some butter, and this is where this gets real messy. Well, just in case we weren't messy enough, I just like to rub it on all over the chicken because it gives it such a nice crispy skin. And certain of my children actually will like barter and trade for the crispy skin. Kind of silly. Okay, and then once we've got that done, okay, we've got that finished. This again is an optional thing. You do not have to do that. Then we're gonna go ahead and add our seasonings. Okay, I'm just gonna wipe off that butter a little bit. Okay, and then this whole jar. Oh my. Okay, so shake that up. We're just gonna go, and then you're just gonna kind of rub this in so it stays on as that chicken cooks in your air fryer. Okay, you're gonna flip. And if you were not videoing yourself doing this, you obviously could wash your hands between, and you know, you wouldn't need to dirty all sorts of jars and stuff. But I like to do quite a bit of seasoning on mine. It's up to you, right? You can kind of choose. If you did this earlier, you could even go ahead and let it kind of sit and marinate. But there's, you know, quite a bit of meat on here, so this is really gonna have some awesome flavor. Okay, so then when we're done, we're just going to, I'm gonna clean off the ends of the spit. They right now are covered in seasonings. And then I'm going to simply put this in the air fryer. Okay, I'm gonna put it in there. I am gonna wash my hands first. We're gonna put it on the air fry setting. It will automatically default to 45 minutes, which is perfect for about a 4 to maybe 4.5 pound bird. But I would recommend temperature checking if you're, you know, playing with weight, and if it's the first time, you know, that you've done a chicken, just make sure it's done properly. I usually insert, you know, a thermometer kind of in between the leg, and that usually gives me a pretty good reading. So there's your rotisserie chicken 101. I'll make sure you see a finished product, but I'm not gonna stay on video for the next 45 minutes. So we'll be back later.